Hi kindergarteners, today we have a fun lesson planned for you today. It's science time. We have a good experiment that I'm going to need you guys to maybe ask your parents to help you with if they're around. Today we're going to talk about weather. Have you guys noticed how the weather lately has been changing a lot? It's October, so it's supposed to get colder, but all of a sudden it got hot and then it got really cold one day, right? Well, can you guys tell me about a time when it got really cold and it started to rain or it started to have bad weather? I want you guys to think about a time where the weather changed really fast and it got cold from warm, and just try to think of why that could have happened. Like, what happened within that day and why did it rain? And that's what we're going to learn about today. Well, those were all good inputs. I can't wait to read them all. And I want you guys to make sure that you write your thoughts down on your writing journal and then submit it at the end so I can see it. But I want to tell you guys that what we were just talking about, that's called a cold front. So it's when the cold air comes in and it takes place of the warm air, and that causes it to rain. So today we're going to do a science experiment that shows it. For this science experiment, I'm going to need you to grab 4 things. I'm going to need you to grab a mason jar. It can be like this size, or it can be smaller. It doesn't have to be this shaped. It can just be like one size, or just a jar that's glass. Then I need you to grab a little bowl. It doesn't have to be very big. It just has to hold some water. And then I'm going to need you to find your microwave, and for that you may need your parents' help. And then I need you to find a little plate that'll sit nicely on top of your jar. And then you will need some ice. So if you can't find all that, ask your parents. I'm sure if you don't have any of that, you can experiment with other things and let me know if anything else works. Okay, for our first step, we're going to take our bowl and we're going to go to our sink and fill it up. So you're going to fill the water up in your bowl, and you're going to get about a little bit less than your bowl full. Next, we're going to take our bowl of water and we're going to put it in our microwave. Once it's in our microwave, we're going to shut the door. We're going to set our time for 3 minutes. Once your microwave is done, you're going to open your microwave, but be very careful because it's going to be hot, so you may want to have your parents grab it for you. Alright, so now you have your hot water in your mason jar. I'd advise you to do this over the sink. So you're going to pour your hot water into your mason jar. Then after you get all the water in, you're going to quickly put your plate over the mason jar. So you're just going to have your mason jar and your plate like this, and you're going to let it sit for about a minute. And you're going to notice how it fogs up like this, and that's going to help us experience the rain happen in our mason jar. So now we're going to go grab ice from our fridge, and we need approximately 5 ice cubes from our fridge. Alright, so I got my 5 ice cubes right here, and I'm going to put them on top of my plate. And then we're going to wait and let that ice cool off the plate on the top, and we're going to watch and wait for it to rain inside our cup. As you're watching, you should be able to see the condensation happening in there, and you'll see water droplets happening down the side. Once I get more rain, I'll show you guys later. So as you can see, there's water dropping down on all the sides, and so now it's raining in our mason jar. So now we're going to talk about why that is happening. Alright, so now that we made our own rain in a mason jar, we can now talk about why this happened. So, when we put the hot water in our mason jar, that was like on a hot day, how it's really warm and there's a lot of warm air in our mason jar, and we saw like the heat and the condensation building up on our mason jar, and then when we put the ice on top, that was like a cold front coming in. So it was the cold air replacing the warm air, and cold air is less dense than hot air is, so it can't carry as much water. So that is why the water ended up dripping down as in rain in our mason jar, and that's called a cold front. And this is how a lot of weather forecasters can tell what the weather's going to be the next day. They can predict when a cold front's coming in, and because they know about the cold front and how the cold air replaces the warm air, just like how it happened in our mason jar, they can predict that it's going to rain the next day because of the cold front coming in. Alright, for our final event, I want you guys to do two things. One, I want you guys to write in your journals about a time that you were able to notice a cold front, or a time where you noticed a day where it was really warm one day and then really cold one day, and like kind of what you did on that day. And then the second thing I want you guys to do is a mini little video of yourself explaining what the mason jar is to somebody else. All right, guys, I hope you have a good day.